Hi all, I'm Libby, proud captain of Millwall Lionesses. Thank you to our Millwall fan show from the No One Likes Us Talking team for sponsoring me this year. Make sure you give them a listen like I do. Or even better, why not sponsor a Lioness while you're at it like they do? Thank you always for your continued support.
This podcast is a proud member of the Fanhub. Football without fans is nothing, so we've partnered with Fanhub to put fans first. Search Fanhub app to play your part in the journey.
Hi, I'm Bethany Warren, and you are joining me to listen to the podcast of our Millwall fan show with the No One Likes Us Talking team, which is available every Friday at 8 p.m.
Hi, I'm Eamonn Barclay, and on International Women's Week, we've maxed out. Here with the No One Likes Us Talking team, we have Patricia Maslin, Bethany Warren, and Stan Godwin to give them good company.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Firstly, we were saddened to hear the passing of former player Mick Brown, aged 76. Mick joined us from Fulham in 1965 and was key player in our promotion as a speedy and direct inside forward. His appearances for us diminished in the second division, which would be the championship today. In the summer of 67 he moved on to Luton and ended his playing days with non-league Hillingdon Borough before hanging up his boots and retiring to Spain. Our thoughts go out to his friends and family. R.I.P. Mick Brown. There are still a couple of urgent requests. Sean Daly of the Millwall Community Trust is keen for volunteers to deliver their support to the community. Every day still loses the odd team member due to self-isolation requirements. Call Sean on 07 958 027 060. If you can help at 07 958 02 7060. Meanwhile, the Lions Food Hub, based in the Rennian Manor Estate Tenants and Residents Association Hall in Bermondsey, are still looking for food and financial support to help them. You can find the Lions Food Hub on Twitter and Facebook. Well, that rounds up the messages tonight. But yeah, International Women's Week, and as I've been told by our eminent leader George, we have got the two roses with a thorn between them. Referred that to you, Stan, as being the thorn.
Well, yeah. I mean, that doesn't surprise me, Amy. You know what I mean? He's have
Are
a
you
pop
in
at
touch
Stan
with your
Day.
feminine side there, Stan?
Yeah.
But Stan, while you're there, give us your thoughts about the Blackburn game.
I wasn't too impressed, I've got to say. I mean, there was all sorts of things going wrong. I mean, the pitch was in an appalling state. I mean, there's no question about any of that. Tony Mowbray is the manager. He's quite a good manager, you know. I mean, I have to say, personally speaking, if at any time, somebody was talking about having him become the manager of Millwall, I wouldn't have a problem with it, personally, because you look at his record, it's first class. But anyway, we haven't got a vacancy, but I just mentioned that. But you know, they're a good side. You know, they played well, and what I find frustrating is we start off okay, and then we back off. You know, and one of it, instead of, you know, when their players get the ball, we should be closing them down straight away. You defend from the front, not from the halfway line, or when the ball's practically onto the top of the back four. And I did find it frustrating, and But funny enough, there was times when we decided to play football as opposed to hoofball, we did start to make some progress. I mean, you know, my view is that we've got, and what I find disappointing this season, we've not played so much football as we was doing last season. So when this season's over and we get to next season, I certainly want to see us playing a lot more football. You know, being played out from the back instead of just lumping it forward, because it's a disaster in my view.
Yeah, let's hope that's the case. Pat, good to see you again, or hear you anyway.
Yeah, 2 weeks on the trot.
Yeah. Similar views to Stan?
Yeah, I mean, Blackburn come off a really bad run of form, and it had to be us that they sort of stopped that with. But they look well up for it, much faster and sharper than us. Their goals were deflections, but they were fully deserved. They were better than us. Even the penalty shout, it was Cooper, wasn't it? That should have been another goal for them. I think we was just lucky that Armstrong wasn't playing. I could have easily seen a 5 or 6-0.
I suppose one of the notable points for me was, they were able to bring in 6 fresh sets of legs, and in that young Tyrese lad, well, is he 18-year-old? Well, he was in, out, around, and behind our players with great ease. So I think it's depth in squad that's certainly beginning to show for us, and a problem that we're going to have to contend with when we get to next season. Bethany, I'm going to shift over to a different position. Our CEO, Steve Kavanagh, talked about how we were one of the luckiest clubs going, having John Berylson as our chairman. Would you echo those views that Steve drew out this week?
Oh, I would, absolutely. Funny story, I'll actually give you a little anecdote. I remember we were waiting in line to get into the club shop once, and John Berylson actually came over, and one of the stewards was like, "Oh, you can't come in," and he was like, he said, I own the shop, and he was like, "No, I can't let you in without ID," and he was like, "No, if you go and ask someone, that they'll know who I am." And so he went and asked, and my dad kind of got the programme out and was like, "Look, mate, that's his picture. This is him. He's the chairman of the club." But he was like, "No, the guy's just doing his job. I'm glad that he's here, and I'm glad he's doing his job, and I'm happy to wait like everyone else. That's absolutely fine." And it was just really nice. And that's just something I think, that I'm sure that there are a lot of CEOs or chairmen, that could have gone the other way with that, being like, "Why won't you let me in?" But he was just like, "No worries, that's fine, I understand." And just, he's so supportive of the club, and I definitely think we are very, very, very lucky.
Yeah, he's a fan amongst the fans, John. And I think everyone would agree with that.
I think that resonates with, the fans as well, and we can see that, and I think it definitely helps to have a chairman who you can see actually cares, I suppose, about it all. So, I would say that.
Yeah, nice one, Steve. That was good of you to put that out about JB. I think a lot of people appreciated that. Anyway, we'll take a break there and be back with our first guest this evening. But for now, let's listen to what Fantastic Fanatics can offer our club.
Hi, I'm Richard Gordon, and I'd like to invite you to become a Fantastic Fanatic. Fantastic Fanatics is a great way to raise funds for your sports club. Sign up today, find your club, and securely register your everyday debit and credit cards. Every time you spend with our retail partners, they pay a percentage back to your club. It costs you nothing, and you could win cash prizes along the way. Visit fantasticfanatics.com and help your club be the best it can be.
Yeah, I'm Eamonn Barclay, and I'm back with a No One Likes Us talking team of Patricia Maslin, Stan Godwin and Bethany Warren. I've signed up for Fantastic Fanatics online. There are a wide range of quality online outlets available to you. And when you buy from them, a percentage will go to our community trust. So it's a good deal all round. Good kit for you and a few bob back to the club. Our first guest tonight hails from Wales. He describes himself as a success-driven and forward-thinking centre-forward whose professional playing career spanned over 18 years throughout the English leagues, representing the likes of Bristol Rovers, Hartlepool, Wycombe Wanderers, Plymouth Argyle, MK Dons, Crystal Palace, that's it, and Millwall FC, whom he joined twice and made 48 appearances in all, including as a substitute, scoring 6 goals and kept the bench warm on a further 20 other occasions. He also played a key role in securing back-to-back league promotions alongside his own personal accolades, Player of the Year, top scorer, and of course being a Welsh international. He works with Wasserman Media Group to assist in their recruitment activities. He embraces new challenges and continually seeks to undertake opportunities that will enhance his skills. We welcome to the show tonight Jermaine Easter. Hello.
Hello, guys. How are we? You right?
All right.
We're good.
All good, how are you?
Yeah, I think we're all talking to each other. That's a bonus, as usual. Before I let the team chat with you, Jermaine, tell us about the first time you joined us on a 1-month loan in September 2008. My memory, it was an exciting debut away at Swindon. How do you remember it?
Yeah, something similar. I think I was at Plymouth at the time when we were in the Championship with Paul. I think Paul Sturrock was manager, and I wasn't happy down there. My wife wouldn't settle down there, so I decided that I wanted to move on. So I'd asked for a transfer. I had the opportunity to go to Crystal Palace, as it happens, permanently in that transfer window, but they wouldn't let me go to another Championship club. So when the window closed, I ended up coming to you guys on loan in League One.
Yeah. Do you remember that debut down at Swindon?
Yeah, I remember the debut. I'm not sure the score, but I remember scoring the first goal. And then I got sent off in the last minute.
That was a bit of a disappointment, but anyway, we did win. It was a great day. I remember it quite clearly, and you genuinely endeared yourself to the Millwall fans there. It was good. Great day.
No, it was good. I enjoyed it. It's a great club, Millwall. I got fond memories of the place, and although the first spell was brief, it was good. It was good to come back sort of later on in my career.
There you go.
Hi, Jermaine. It's Bethany. It's lovely to talk to you. So the next time you joined us was in March 2013. Once again, on a loan that Kenny Jackett made from the team in Selhurst. What was it that brought you back to the Den for a second time around?
Well, I think Ian Holloway was sort of my manager at Crystal Palace at the time, and Dougie Freeman had left to go to Bolton, and Ollie came in and sort of changed the system around, and I wasn't playing as much as I'd like, and he was trying to turn me into a winger, whereas I was a centre forward and wanted to play as a centre forward. So I found myself out of the team, and then I think Kenny took me on loan. I think it was in the March or the April time of that year. And that was it. Obviously, I was living in Wimbledon at the time, so it was easy, commutable for me to make the move, and I had the opportunity to stay in the Championship, so I took it.
Hello, Jermaine. Pat here. You joined Millwall, who were very anxious to retain their Championship status, but they somehow managed to reach the FA Cup semi-finals at Wembley. You'd only been with us a month, so you didn't really feature actually in that game. But you must have been being around that club even that month before. What was the atmosphere like, and what was it like to be sort of amongst it all?
I remember coming in, and obviously we were in a fight to stay in the division, but there was never sort of... I've been in dressing rooms where you're fighting to stay in the league, and they can be a bit down or a bit gloomy, but it was never that, to be fair. When I came in, the lads were quite positive, and maybe it was the fact that they had that FA Cup semi-final to look forward to, so no, it was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jermaine, it's Stan here, mate. How are you? Okay?
All right, Stan, how are you, mate?
I'm all right. You was a player who certainly made an impact on both of the times that you joined us. You even got yourself in history files of our continuing wonderful unbeaten run against Charlton by scoring on your second debut and becoming a fan's favourite for doing so. How do you remember that day?
Yeah, it was my first game back. I think I was on the bench, and I think it was me and Richard Chaplow had signed maybe a day or two before. And we both came off the bench at the same time, and I think Chappie set me up for the first goal, was it? And then did Shane Lowry then go and score a wonder goal then? And did we win the game 2-0? Yeah.
I mean, I was standing next to my mate in that ground, and we was right behind the goal, and I mean literally right behind it. And when he took that free kick, I mean we just see it coming towards us, and as it was getting nearer and nearer, you thought it's going to hit the bar, and all of a sudden it went in. I mean, for about 10 seconds we was all a bit speechless.
Yeah, it was a great strike.
Oh, dear, yeah. And And I had a mate at the other end who's a Charlton fan, and in his trouble is he can never bring himself to accept that when we beat him, we were the better team. And on that one, he kept saying, "Oh yeah, but I think the goalkeeper could have saved it." I said, "You had no chance of saving that. Absolutely no chance."
He's a dreamer. He's getting nowhere near that.
So you were capped by Wales, and you were joined by Steve Morrison, who also had won Welsh honours. Had you played together with Wales, and how did you find playing at Millwall with Morrow?
Yeah, I still get on with Steve now. We still speak quite regularly. I was sort of texting him today, actually. No, Steve's a good guy. I think we definitely played together. I'm not sure what game we played together for Wales, but we definitely did play together for Wales, and obviously we played together at Millwall. So no, I like Steve. He's a good guy. I know he's a Millwall legend, and he's very well liked at the club. So no, he's a good bloke.
Jermaine, during your time at Millwall, you played under quite a few managers. I mean, more managers than years you were there, actually. How did they differ? I mean, you had Kenny Jackett, Neil Harris, Scott Fitzgerald, Steve Lomas, Ian Holloway even. I mean, it must have been difficult to actually keep convincing every manager that you should be in the team each time they turned up.
Oh, when I came in, obviously Kenny brought me on loan the first time. And Kenny did very well for the club. I think all the fans will admit that. He had a certain way of playing that the fans enjoyed watching, high energy, picked up second balls, got balls into the box, scored a lot of goals, and did well for the club. But Kenny was a straightforward bloke. You knew what you were getting from him. And then, obviously, the second time round again was Kenny. Kenny didn't stay that long. I think he left at the end of that season and went to Wolves, did he?
Yeah, that's right. After the Wembley visit.
Yeah, and then I think it was Steve Lomas then. Who,
that's right.
It was always going to be tough for Steve just because of obviously his connection to West Ham. But Steve was a decent fella.
Yeah.
I don't think he was very experienced in management when he took the job. So again, that was always going to be a tough ask for him. But I always got on with Steve well. He was good to me. So that was fine. And then I think Ollie then took over.
Right.
Obviously, I left Palace to get away from Ollie.
We all tried to get away as well.
Yeah. And then obviously he comes into Millwall, and then the same sort of thing happened. Then I ended up leaving because I wasn't playing as much football. Ollie's he's a different bloke, different type of character, very intense. His footballing ideas, like I've made the decision to go down and become an agent, which I really enjoy doing. So, but if I would have stayed in football management, I did all my coaching badges. There's a lot of ideas I probably would have took from Ian, but I probably would have delivered them in a different way. I think he sort of gets too wrapped up in things in terms of, I think sometimes you can be overly emotional, whereas I think in that job you need to sort of keep an even keel whether things are going well or things are going bad. Whereas with Ian, I think he let his emotions sort of get the better of him.
Right, so is that why you actually ended up leaving us to go to Bristol Rovers?
Yeah. I obviously I was training with the under-21 for a period of time before I left. Ian sort of made it clear I wasn't going to be a part of his squad, and I went and trained with Neil Harris in the 21s or the 23s at the time. And again, Neil Harris is a very, very good bloke, Millwall legend. I've got a lot of time for Neil. So I had a stint with him. And then, obviously, I was 33, 34 at the time, so obviously I was coming to the latter stages of my career. And then my wife had travelled around with me to various different places. So, obviously, we're both from Cardiff, so I went to Bristol Rovers just for the opportunity to come home.
Right.
Yeah, Jermaine, you mentioned or you said that you're with, I think it's Wasserman these days, Jermaine, the global organisation.
That's right, yeah.
It proudly represents thousands of athletes, broadcasters, coaches and social media influencers around the world supporting their career. business and brand opportunities on a global scale. How do you fit into this Global Champions League team?
So basically, I'm an agent for the company, so I manage young players' careers now, contractually, and sort of mentoring them and stuff like that. So Wasserman looked after me as a player for the majority of my career. So I had the choice really to either go down that road or to go into management, and I thought it would be more suited to me personally to do the type of thing I'm doing. So that's why I decided to do it. I retired in August 2017, and I went straight into the job in August 2017. So what's that, 3.5 years now? Yeah.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Yeah. And I mean, you touched upon your time at the Den. You joined with Richard Chaplow, who a lot of people talk very highly about. How did you find Richard?
Chappie did. Chappie he's a very good player, technically very good player, nice fella. He didn't really get a fair crack of the whip, in my opinion, at Millwall, but was he a Millwall type of player? I'm not sure. I don't know, but I thought he did well in spells and he did okay in spells. But yeah, Chappie was a good guy. I like Chappie.
That's good. And who else stood out from you in the playing group you were with during the time you were with us?
I suppose towards the end of my career, when I was in that sort of 21 period where I spent with Chappie, I was the older pro. When some of those kids that have come through, like Ben and Aiden and players like that, and it's nice to see them. They've gone on and sort of had decent careers, because they were always good kids and always willing to learn and work hard. So it's good to see that they've gone on and had decent careers. I know Ben's still at Millwall now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And obviously Aiden, I think, is at Sunderland. So no, it's good to see those kids do well. There were so many different players that sort of came through. When I first came in, Lewis Grabban always impressed me. When I was on loan the first time round, and obviously he's gone on to have a successful career. Neil Harris was always a good goal scorer. Obviously we played together the first time round. Danny Shitty was always a good character in the dressing room.
Amazing character.
So he sort of brought the group together, and he was very intimidating when you played against him, but he was a softie when you knew him. But no, there was so many different types. Scott McDonald was always a decent player, technically. So no, there was some good players there.
There was old Alan Dunn.
Yeah, Denny's a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Denny's a Millwall legend. He played most of his career there, didn't he? Did he?
Yeah.
Of course, another legend, that do. I mean,
Jimmy. Jimmy's a good kid. I was in Plymouth with Jimmy as well.
Oh, so yeah.
I knew Jimmy from the Plymouth days before he went to Millwall, and Jimmy's a great kid. Lovely boy.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing player. No, that's brilliant to hear all those views. Really been brilliant to talk with you. But before you go, it's a tradition on the show that guests provide a prediction for our next match. So what do you think the score will be when we go to Pride Park this Saturday to face Derby County?
I'm going to go. It's going to be a score draw. I'm going to go 1-1.
God, if you must be the last 2 months. That's genuinely been what our guests have said every time. Yeah,
have they not drawn one of the most games in the league? Yeah,
they have. You're not far off wrong. I'm only hoping that we do get a score draw up there, and Wayne Rooney don't give us a tough time. No,
They picked up Derby, to be fair, since Wayne's taken over. So
well, they have. Although the last, I think, about 4 or 5 games, they bombed. They haven't won, and and it hasn't quite worked for them. But we've had a lot of that. We had a lot of that with Blackburn turning up to the Den and hadn't lost
won for 8
God
games.
knows, and then they turned us over. So it's a funny old league this year. It's a funny old game of football. But it's brilliant to hear that from you. You'll have to come back again and tell us a few more stories from interesting bunch of players when you were there.
Yeah, we had 2 characters for sure.
You definitely did, and we'd love to hear some more about them. So we'll get in touch again. And for now, I'll just say, you and yours take care, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now, Jermaine.
Take care, lads.
Bye, Jermaine.
Yeah, cheers,
Bye-bye.
Jermaine.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, we'll take a break there before we hear from the creator of Fanhub. But first, here is one of Stan's and Henry's close collaborators, Kai Bennett and his Millwall Fan TV.
Hello, I'm Kai. I run Millwall Fan TV. I have done for about 1.5 years now. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. If you just search in Millwall Fan TV, I should come up. You can also find me on YouTube at Millwall Fan TV. I do pretty-match predictions, post-match analysis and full-time reaction. I also try to do as many interviews on ex-Millwall players. I've done about 10 so far and I've absolutely loved every minute of it. Thank you so much for all your support. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, it's Millwall Fan TV. All your support is always massively appreciated. Thank you.
I'm Eamonn Barclay, and I'm back with a No One Likes Us Talking team of Bethany Warren, Stan Godwin and Patricia Maslin. Great to listen to Kai. He's now reporting regularly not only with the online soccer journal Vavel.com, that's V-A-V-E-L, Vavel.com, but also with the South London Press on London News Online. Check them out. Before we move on to our next guest, last weekend we learnt about a potential incoming transfer to us in the summer, involving a young man called Luke McCormick, plying his trade on loan with Bristol Rovers from Chelski. As we now take a glimpse behind the Millwall to hear from the gas in the form of Harley Thorne, Fanhub creator and Bristol Rovers podcaster, about Luke.
It's been an absolute shocker of a season for Bristol Rovers, but one of the shining lights has been Luke McCormick. I'm not a huge fan of loan signings, especially young players from the Premier League. I'd rather we developed our own talent, but Luke has massively proved me wrong. The guy plays way above his years. He dominates games. He's got a bit of everything as well. He's got a great shot on him, but he puts in dogged performances, really tough in the tackle. And like I say, he doesn't play like a lone player from the Premier League. So, yeah, I think he'd be an absolutely fantastic signing to Millwall. One of the things that sums it up, I suppose, is that when this rumoured signing for you guys came out, my Bristol Rovers fans WhatsApp group immediately said fair play to Millwall for their scouting, because I can't imagine many people from the Championship have got eyes on him at the moment, but I genuinely believe he's a huge prospect. So yeah, fair play to Millwall for snapping that one up if they do. I was really hoping we'd go in for him, but I mean, first and foremost we need to stay in League One, so he's hoping he can help us do that before he goes off to you guys and gets a well-deserved move to the Championship in the summer.
Well, another midfielder in our sights. What do you think, people? Pat?
Well, he sounds a bright prospect. I think the Championship's probably the hardest of all the leagues, especially for youngsters coming in. He's not played in the Championship before, has he? You're not playing with others who can carry you. I think it's physically more brutal than any other of the leagues out there. With the fans back next season, it might be a real eye-opener for him. I hope he does well. He comes to us. It's nice to see us looking at younger players, because the only way we're really going to progress is by having a side who can play and stay together for a few years.
Yeah. Stan?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's. I'd never heard. To be fair, I'd never heard of the guy until I heard about him this, in the week. But somebody said the other day when I was talking to him about it, he said what he's pleased about is that, if this, all right, if this kid is at Chelski and whatever, so we're not talking about some 2-bob player, but he said that his view was that he was happy that that Millwall were looking at that sort of talent for the future. That's another way of saying that the club is progressing, and not, you don't just judge everything that's by the club what happens on the football field, obviously. Yeah. And so no, I mean, if we could get him, I mean, if it's more than paper talk, because I'm always mindful of the fact that journalists have got newspaper space to fill up. But assuming it's a Pucker story, if we can get him, all well and good.
And what about you, Bethany? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I totally agree with what both Stan and Pat said. I think we need a bit of a mix-up at the moment, especially now we've got players that are out injured for a long time. I feel like, for example, on what day are we now? Saturday. On Saturday, we were struggling, and I think that's because of a lack of options that we had to change it up. So, more options, fantastic. Let's go.
And why not? And why not? No, he seems to be showing that he's got some talent. He's scoring goals, and I think he was with Vitesse Arnhem as well a little way back before he went to Shrewsbury last season and then on to Bristol Rovers. So it looks positive, and I don't think he's the last of the midfielders that we're looking at, because we've still got eyes on that Campbell. He's a youngster up in Motherwell, and people still believe that Jason Malumbi is a potential.
That'd be a good one.
Joiner, and if he can get him, it would be some deal. But I think, speaking to lots of people, everyone seems to believe we've got to have a bigger squad for next year, whichever way we look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, because clearly what's affected us this year, right, is the fact that the squad is small, and we've struggled. I mean, I was reading what Jed Wallace was saying today, and there's no doubt about it. So yeah, we do need a bigger squad, and that means that they're not just going to suddenly appear, these players, and so. Work will have to be put in, and money will have to find its way to the appropriate places.
So no music or singing this week, but we do have the assuring tones of our next guest, who George Lampy tells me is a participant in our Match Day Prediction League on Millwall No One Likes Us Talking's Facebook site. More importantly, he's the chief executive of the Millwall Community Trust and has been busy working with his team, including volunteers, to deliver services to the community in these most challenging times since COVID-19 changed our lives. I'm delighted once more to welcome a can-do star of our times, Sean Daly. Welcome, Sean.
Good evening all, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Sean.
Sean.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's good to hear, because we need you to be well. Tough times. Tough times, but the Prime Minister has now published his roadmap to bring us out of lockdown. But before we discuss what that means to you and your team, we've had many listeners ask who are the Millwall Community Trust ambassadors and what is it that they do?
So I have two sorts of ambassadors really for the Trust. I have player ambassadors and I have community ambassadors. So under the PFA, which is like the Professional Football Association, every professional footballer that's attached to a football club is meant to do some community work in some form, whether it's like appearances at a holiday camp or schools, etc. So when Gary Rout came in, I emailed him and sort of said, look, I knew him from when he played at Charlton, and sort of said, look, what we did at Charlton with the players around the community, I'd like to come and present to the players around our community scheme, because I think it's very important that the players know what the community scheme's about, but also if they're going to become an ambassador, they've got some attachment to one of the projects.
Yeah.
Because I felt it was wrong sometimes to take a player out to, say, a holiday camp, and they've got They've got no feeling for the holiday camp at all because they've got no children, they've never been on a holiday camp and they don't understand it, or to take them to an education programme. So I presented to all the players and in depth about each programme and said, look, I'm looking for 8 ambassadors, someone that feels that I would only pull them out to come to programmes and to events that was attached to that programme. They would get to know about the programme, get to know about the people, get to know about the staff that run it, and then really have a binding and engagement with the actual programme. And I've got 8 ambassadors this year. So I've got someone like Alex Pearce is my ambassador for education. So he'll come out to World Book Day. He'll come to the AP and speak to young people around education. I've got Billy Mitchell for the national citizenship. Yeah. Well, Billy went on the national citizenship when he was at school. You know, he's got a feel for it. He knows what it's around. He knows what young people get. I've got Ben Thompson, who's health ambassador. So he'll come to my health programmes. Jed Wallace is my disability ambassador. I've got Jake Cooper, my football development, so he comes to schools and holiday camps, gets involved with the children. I've got Mason Bennett, who's my social inclusion. So Mason did some Zooms for me the other day with schools around inclusion and how to look after yourself on the streets and that sort of stuff. But I've got 8 ambassadors that are, you know, they're unbelievable, but they understand what the programme is and that they're bought into it. Yeah, they would rather come on the community ones because they've got an attachment to it. And then I wanted to get a couple of community people from the local community to become ambassadors, because I can talk a good story about the trust and what I feel like, but I need people from the community buying into it and telling people what we're about. So I have Jimmy Carter, who just talks about the trust all the time when he goes to different places on TalkSport and that. And then I've got Kelly Webster, and she, you know, she's unbelievable. I can ring her any time and just say I need help with something, or I need support on this, or could I have your advice? She'll support the community trust all the time.
No, it's a fantastic bunch of people, there's no doubt about it. And certainly Kelly is a standout star in all that. She gets involved in so much, as you say. It's just incredible. Jimmy, I've heard talk about the trust when he's on TalkSport and things like that. He's a valuable asset. But it's good to see all those players involved as well, and I'm sure that'll answer many of our listeners, I suppose, interest in what it's all about. Thanks for that.
Hi, Sean. It's Bethany. Nice to talk to you again. So how is the work with the NHS progressing under the project banner of We Do Care Hospital Heroes?
It's been really good. So we ran a wellbeing centre over at Lewisham Hospital for about the last 3 months, where we've had staff and lionesses and different people going over there running sort of like the restaurant for the staff. We've done some bedtime stories with Jed Wallace the other day for the staff's children. It's been good. The COVID-19 is dying off a little bit at the hospital, so it's relaxed a little bit more than it was before. We've got yoga sessions going on as well, weekly yoga sessions for the nurses and the doctors on Zoom, which is very good attended. We're looking at 40 key workers attending the Zooms every week. I'm looking now to sort of give them a social respite in some way. I've approached Lewisham about starting a Millwall NHS key workers football team, playing out of St Paul's. Hey. It will only be for key workers from Lewisham. They're talking about male and maybe a female team as well. We'll put them in a league. They'll train, but it'll be more of a social football team where they can come together, train once a week, play matches on a Saturday or Sunday, which could be just a friendly. And I thought what that does is that they get to see their key workers in a different environment away from the hospital. It will also help them, I think, hopefully with mental health, physical activity. And then we said that we would fund it and run it for a year for them, then hoping that someone from the hospital would then take it on. But it will only be represented by key workers. So it'll be literally a key workers football team. So we're in talks with them at the moment about doing that. And I think up to yesterday, they've got about 10 people interested. So if I can get up to 15, 20, then we'll start it.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Does. Hello, Sean. It's Pat here.
Hiya, Pat.
Hello. Young Harvey Brown and I promote your work each week on this show. We're always curious to know about what's going on. You was with Hope Powell, legend coach for both Lionesses and England. What was that all about?
What I've been running at the moment is during lockdown. I think it was very important to keep our community participants engaged with the community. We're very much a face-to-face organisation where we're out delivering on the estates and in schools and all different things. With lockdown, we weren't able to do that. I come up with an idea that how good would it to be have every Thursday at 1:30 to have a guest speaker from the football industry, where they could give their insight to how they got their role, what was their journey, what did they have to get over to get their role. So I've had Steve Kavanagh, I had Danny McNamara, Billy Mitchell, Billy Taylor, Jimmy Carter. I had Steve Brown come and talk from Sky TV and talk sport about how he got his role. And I had Stuart Locke came on today. I had Kate Whitmore come on and talk about her journey. And I was just trying to give young people a role model and a way their path could go and how they could get to that goal they wanted. A lot of them want to be footballers, but as we know, hardly anyone will make it footballers. Well, how do you get into the industry if you don't? And I was trying to give them that. I contacted Hope. So Hope used to do some coaching education at the Lions Centre for the PFA. So I contacted the PFA and said, look, I really need Hope's number, really. I think Hope, as a role model, lived in Peckham, went on to play for the Lionesses, went on to manage England for 15 years. I'd love her to talk to my young people. So they gave me a number. I contacted her. She was good as gold. She said, yeah, no problem. So she was due last Thursday to come on and talk to the young people. But I thought, why don't I line it up with International Women's Day? You know, it's all about inspiring females. And I thought, what an inspiration she'll be for our young people, especially the Lionesses, the Girls' Academy, and some of our participants. So I spoke to Hope and said, could you do it on the 8th of March, International Women's Day? And she went, yeah, I'd love to. And she was just unbelievable. And she spoke so highly of the club and how she got over certain things to become where she did for England. And she talked about resilience and she was honest about certain things, you know, that, you know, was she overlooked because she was a female? And she didn't think she did. She literally said, you know, I wanted to be the best I could and I'm going to be an inspiration for young people in the game.
Oh, that's brilliant. We're coming out of full lockdown now. How is it for you and the trust now? We're being less restrictive, and what will the future hold?
I think the roadmaps helped us really, you know, to give us some deadlines that we can work to, where there was no deadlines before. It was literally, you're in a lockdown and this could be to 3 months. But he's literally given us some dates where we can work to now. So we know that on the 29th of March, football outside will restart. So St Paul's will open up again. We've already got school in the Lions Centre because they went back this week. So we are beginning now to plan what we are going to go and what we're going to do. So we've got an Easter programme planned. We're not going to charge children to come on our camps again for Easter. I've managed to get some funding to offer that food and activity camps for the children again, like I did in the summer. So I've managed to get for Easter 170 children a day for 9 days over Easter. So that's all planned. The venues are booked in. So literally, I'm hoping, touch wood, we're going to come back to some sort of normality. The Lions Centre doesn't look like it'll be reopening until possibly June for indoor sport. But at least I'll have something going on the outdoors. So hopefully everything's beginning to come back to normal in a certain way. But, you know, what I really want is the fans to come back to the stadium and then come into the Lions Centre and see everyone, really.
Stan here, mate. How are you doing? It's always good.
I'm very well, Stan. You? How are you?
I'm okay, mate. I'm okay. How will moving further down the Prime Minister's roadmap out of lockdown affect other projects that you have had to stall?
Yeah, I mean, a few projects came to a stall straight away, really. So the prison project that we were starting, where we were going to work at Belmarsh Prison, we literally done one day there and then we got locked down. So that's got to restart. We're also due to do a homeless charity, but they want to play indoors. So that will probably be looking to restart in June. So a lot of stuff came to stall, came to a pause, but they'll be back up and running. You know, I think everyone now, we've got a roadmap and dates. People can start planning them in and sort of have a goal where they're going to go. The big one for me was the prison, really, because I thought, you know, we do a lot of work outside trying to stop people from offending and going into institutions. And I was so looking forward to the bit of like my staff going into work in a prison, making impact in there, and then hopefully supporting people when they come out of prison back into the community. So that's one that's I'm quite upset that stalled, that we couldn't get it going. But the most important thing I think is that, you know, it's the safety of my staff as well. You know, I don't want to put people into environments that they're not happy with. But those projects will come back on again. You know, that's just a pause. We've got a roadmap when we can restart again. So I think we're due back to go back into prison early April. So, you know, that will restart for 6-week blocks. And then sort of like June time, we'll be able to start the indoor stuff that we, you know, like the walking football and the homeless charity that we're going to work with.
Yeah, we'll have to get down there for that, staying with Ted for the walking football.
Yeah.
We'll have to have a bit of that and bring George along.
We take Belmarsh by storm, mate. That's what we're doing.
One way or the other.
The place will never be the same again.
No. Sean,
that wouldn't be a bad little place to come and do a radio station, would it?
No, it would.
Oh,
it wouldn't.
Right,
yeah. Well, we can talk about that, I'm sure, Sean. No doubt about that. Sean, we had a very positive look ahead from Millwall Romans manager Paul Loading 2 shows back. And are due to hear from Katie Whitmore when details are clear about the Lionesses' return to football. For both these teams, completing their respective leagues will undoubtedly present challenges. How are you proposing to support the possible demands at St Paul's, which I think are, well, they're currently complicated still under current conditions because Millwall Academy are playing there too?
Yeah, so well, during lockdown, elite football was allowed to continue.
Yeah.
So the under-18s, under-16s, 23s could all still train plus the first team. I've got an empty site up at St Paul's, and I know there was a lot of demand on the training ground for the first team and the 23s. So I spoke to Kenny Brown and said to him, look, I've got an empty site up there at the moment at St Paul's. If your 23s, your 18s, your 16s, your 15s want to come and train up there, I'm happy for them to come up and train. And that's what they've been doing. So every week we've had the 23s up there. The 23s were up there today. We've hosted a couple of under-16 games up there during this past of lockdown. Great because it's taken the pressure off Camelot and to Blackheath a little bit, so it saved the pitches up there. Also the safety of the players, so there are not too many players around for COVID and stuff like that. And what I've literally do, exactly what you said, is, you know, it's very important that the Lionesses and the Romans finish their league. They've got to finish it. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on, I think, a lot of sites, you know, because a lot of teams will play at parks that are then going to be converted into cricket pitches, or people are going to want to do work on the pitches during the summer. So I think there's going to be a lot of people looking for pitches. But what I've said to the Lionesses and the Romans is it's important you finish the league, what you started, one for the well-being of the players, and one definitely for the Lionesses because they didn't finish last year. And you'll have first choice on St Paul's. I'll move things around to make sure that you yourselves get to play your games. I've even offered to both of their leagues is that if they want a neutral pitch for teams to play to ensure that the league finishes, I will make sure St Paul is available, that we can get, you know, those leagues finished. You know, they're both sitting at the top of the league on both their respective leagues, so I don't want it to be void and they don't win anything. So we'll try and move everything around. You know, there are main important things. The Lionesses the Romans and the Girls' Academy, really, because they're part of the Millwall family.
That's it. You'll have to start taking over some other locations, Sean. There's not enough room or space for us for everything that we want to do. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
It's been great to catch up with you again, Sean. But before we say until the next time, it is a tradition, as you know, to ask all of our guests for a prediction for the next game. And as a regular competitor on our Facebook page, I suspect you'll be well prepared to tell us what you think the score will be when we travel to Derby this weekend.
I haven't won yet, though. I keep getting them wrong. I'm only after a key ring and a mug. That's what I'm after.
We'll make this your winning week. What are you going for?
I think we'll win 1-0. Go for 1-0.
1-0. Who's going to score first? Who's going to score that goal, sorry?
I'd like to see Jed score it, but Matt Smith or someone like that, I think will get it.
Yeah, that'd be good. Thanks, Sean. We wish you all the best and look forward to you joining us again in the not-too-distant future. So take care, and as Stan says, look after the jewels that the MCT are in the Millwall crown, and stay safe, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Sean.
Yeah,
cheers.
Cheers, bye.
Ta-da, mate.
We'll take a break there, but before we look ahead to our upcoming fixtures, for now, it is me, Bethany Warren, talking about Be My Eyes. Hi, Bethany Warren here. Millwall Lionesses have partnered with international smartphone application Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is an application that truly benefits the poor of sight and the blind, but is supported by those of us that can see.
You might wonder how blind people deal with everyday challenges. Well, normally the answer is simple. We're not that different from you. We play music. We go to school. We go to work. You get the picture. But sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to first available number.
That's where you come in.
Establishing video connection.
Through your smartphone, Be My Eyes connects the blind with sighted people through a live video connection. Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button.
That's a nice picture of you and your family, Caroline. Is it for a present? Yes, it's a photo from my parents.
You can help just by installing the Be My Eyes app.
Prepped image.
And we'll notify you when someone needs your help. And if you're in the middle of something, don't worry. Someone else will step in. So, would you care to be my eyes?
Be My Eyes is displayed on the Lionesses shorts this season. Download the app onto your smartphone now and help those that need your eyes straight away.
Yeah, I'm Eamonn Barclay, and I'm back with No One Likes Us talking team of, we've just heard, Bethany Warren, Stan Godwin and Patricia Maslin. Be My Eyes makes a big difference to those with impaired sight. Well, it's time to look ahead to what's coming up for our Lions. But first, we will hear from that video sensation, Ellis Barr, whose incredible improvement over 5 years was clear to see on a recently released video.
Hi everyone, Ellis here. Thanks for watching my videos and thank you for all the support. But now it's time to look ahead to your next match. Come on, Millwall!
Well, thanks, Ellis. It's great to see you and keeping up the good work and getting yourself fit. Might have to get you down the den with some of the players as well, I think. Anyway, our Henry, Statto Morgan, as Gary calls him, is up next with Jason Straw of the Rams Review podcast as the fan from the opposition. Let's hear what they have to say ahead of Saturday's game.
Good evening, welcome to View from the Opposition. Tonight we're speaking to Derby County fan Jason Straw, member and founder of the Rams Review podcast, which I was very lucky to go and speak to early this week. Jason, how are you after last night's goalless draw at Oakwell for Derby?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks, Henry. Yeah, pleasantly surprised. I was fully predicting a loss for Derby. It wasn't a classic, but anybody that can go to Oakwell, certainly on the run that Barnsley have been on, and take something from it, I think they've done quite well, and it bodes well for Saturday.
I was going to say that our trip to Oakwell was definitely less fruitful than yours with a 2-1 loss. You came to us in December, early December, I think it was the 5th. You defeated us at the Den 1-0 on what was a tumultuous day, both on and off the pitch for the Lions. How have Derby County fared since that match? Give us a brief overview.
Yeah, they've up until about four or five games ago, there was obvious leaps and bounds that they'd come on under Wayne Rooney as sole manager. Obviously, I think when small steps and didn't expect anything going to the Den at all, and obviously that materialised in a different way, and Derby managed to get the 3 points, and that put them on a run. I think it was something like 7 wins in 10. I think it was something like 6 out of 8 clean sheets. Probably about 4 or 5 games ago, the form just started to dip. We obviously still no wins. I think that's winless in 6, but we'd been on the end of a hammering from Cardiff at their place, and we'd had the 1-1 draw with Forest at home, which was a little bit contentious. We probably should have won that, but these things happen. And then Coventry stiffed us 1 on Saturday, and it's going into last night's game, everything was pointing towards Barnsley, and Derby managed to take the point out of it, and sort of a battling performance, a resilient performance
to the Den. So, I mean, are there a couple of players that maybe are performing a bit better than others that Millwall need to look out for?
I mean, funnily enough, and anybody who listens to our podcast and the chat that me and you had 2 days ago, you mentioned Kamil Jozwiak, who's been absolutely bang out of form. He actually played really, really well last night. Oh. He actually started, which was a bit of a surprise. And he put in a real shift. So I think I said to you, he probably won't be involved on Saturday. I think I'm going to change my mind and say, based on last night, he may well be a starter on Saturday. And I think Graham Shinney and Jason Knight, the 2 midfielders, again, energy permitting, they're 2 that really try and run the show. I wouldn't be surprised if we play a similar 3-5-2 formation on Saturday, which similar would mean, we do tend to match up against teams. We do have, I don't know how much this is really helping or not, Henry, that we can chop and change formations, but that rhythm, I don't know if that's affecting Derby, but we do tend to try and match up the best we can against. We don't stick to our own style. So I can fully expect a 3-5-2, same as it was last night. So you're probably going to see your old boy Gregory up front alongside Kazzy and Richards, and Gregory owes us one from the last 2 or 3 games. So
is there anyone that you think Derby will be particularly wary of on the Millwall side? I know we've got a couple of your old boys who will probably, I would have thought, I saw Scott Malone might actually be injured for the return. But
what a shame.
Maybe Mason Bennett.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. Certainly down the left-hand side, it's obviously down our left. It's obviously if Jed Wallace is playing out on the right. If Lee Buchanan, our normal left-back, is fit, he's got a bit more pace than Craig Forsyth, who plays at left-back. But Craig Forsyth is a bit more defensive-minded. So any team who attack Derby down the wings and get crosses in have had quite a lot of joy this year.
What's your score prediction then for Saturday, given last night's result and then all we've discussed?
Derby seem to be a little bit better at home than they are away at the moment.
Okay.
And I think the record at home, I think they've lost like 1 in 5 at home. They've picked up 2 or 3 wins. Conditions will play a big factor. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of weather, a lot of rain in the East Midlands at the moment. Derby's pitch wasn't brilliant before. Can't see it being anywhere better. So even though we've not played on it for 2 weeks, but I don't know. I've just got this feeling that Derby are gonna get the win for some bizarre reason, and I think a 2-0 win for Derby.
Jason, look, thanks so much for coming on talking to us. We've got a really clear idea, I think, of what we're up against on Saturday now. May the best team win, mate, and good luck for the rest of the season after Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Same to you. Thank you for having me on, Henry. It's been a pleasure.
It was a pleasure for Henry, I'm sure. He didn't seem to get too many words in edgeways there. But anyway, we have got a view of what's going on at Derby. One of the clear aspects is they've got quite a big squad to draw upon. And that, I suppose, will sit in their favour. Although the Lions this week have had a complete week off and haven't had the delight of having to play midweek. So, what do we reckon? Pat?
Hopefully a couple of our injuries should be back this week, according to news at Den. I can't believe Keefton Bled has missed 7 games.
Yeah.
It's a long time, but they also mentioned that perhaps Murray Wallace should be back. That will put a completely different stance on the team, because I listened to the Derby podcast where Henry was on, and Henry did say you never know what type of Millwall team is going to turn up lately. I mean, we've been dire and we've been brilliant, so no one can really predict it. I mean, it's really out there. And I will say that this Jason, who's on the podcast, really didn't like Malone, Bennett or Rowett. It was quite interesting to listen to if anyone's out there. But as for Saturday, it's so hard to predict. I just can't say, because who knows what the team's going to be.
Okay. Stan.
I'm quite optimistic, because I think that now we've had this break, i.e. we ain't had to have a game in the week. I mean, I think that's going to be quite beneficial to us, because I think some of our guys did need to have a blow, and so no, I'm quite confident we can go up there and get a result. I think Derby this season, I think when this season comes, I think they had ambitions for the playoffs and all the rest of it, and if they don't make that, which is looking extremely unlikely, then from their point of view, I think the season's been a bit of a disaster for them, personally. But but that's their problem and not ours. But no, I'm quite confident we'll do okay, and as I say, I think the rest of the blow for our players would have done them some good. Okay. All I'm hoping is we play a bit more football and a bit less more hoofball.
I think it's going to be tough. That the Pride Park pitch is in a bad state, and they've had consistent rain all week there, so we'll just have to wait and see. Bethany.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same as Stan, really. I'm quite optimistic. I say this every time I'm on. I always try and be optimistic. As I said earlier, the options are still thin, but I think having the past 2 games not been the way we've wanted them to go, I feel like this should now light a fire up underneath them, and they should be able to snatch a win. We've got to snatch a win now. We have
to. Okay. Pat, are you going to go for a score prediction, or you just...
Oh, it's hard, isn't it? I'm going to go 1-0 to us, purely because we're not safe yet. We still need 7 or 8 points to say, yeah, we're safe. We need those 3 points, so I'm going 1-0 to us.
Stan?
I think we'll win by the odd goal. So It's either going to be 1-0 or 2-1, but I think we'll win it.
Great. Bethany?
I think I'm going to do the opposite to what Jason said. I'm going to say that we're going to win it 2-0.
Oh, okay. 2-0. Sounds good to me. And, of course, we don't get a prediction from Henry anymore because he feels that he put us in the quagmire with his daft predictions at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's all Henry's fault.
It's all Henry's fault. We can blame Henry. I spoke with Carla Murray Hales, who is the administrator of the Facebook Millwall group, Millwall Fans Home and Away. Anyone can become a member. You just answer a couple of questions and you'll be welcomed into the group. Carla has predicted a 2-1 win for the Lions at Pride Park. Thanks for that, Carla, and see you on the site. So there's no rest for the Lions in the week ahead as we have the short trip to the Cayenne Prince Foundation Stadium to face QPR on Wednesday. We might need the luck of the Irish to get a return on St Patrick's Day, as back in December, John Daddy Bodvarsson scored at the Den to rescue a point for us as the Hoops had led by a single goal from the 53rd minute. Most recently, they have registered back-to-back wins away to Bristol City and Wycombe Wanderers after having lost 3-1 at home to Barnsley. It's 1 draw, 2 losses and those 2 back-to-back wins in their last 5. So what do we reckon? Stan?
It's going to be a difficult game. I mean, I know QPR's form's been a bit indifferent, and they've not done as well as I think they thought they was going to do this season. So it's not. We're not just going to rock up there and just roll them over. But again, we're capable of winning it, and it's all about our application for me. We're there. It's us. It's for us to set out our stall, and not let them sort of dictate to us. If we can do that, and the application's right, I think we can win the game.
Okay, Bethany.
Yeah, to kind of echo what Stan said, I think Mill are better when they just take control of the game, and I think rather than let them press onto us, we need to start leading in that way. So yeah, again, because of the losses, I want to stay optimistic. So I think there's no reason why we can't go there and not win.
Pat.
Oh, bit of a bogey team for us of late, aren't they? On paper, we are very similar. They don't seem to have a natural goal scorer up front, even though they got Austin. He's only got 5 this season so far. I'd like to see us win, just to get back at them for them trying to goad their fans on that home game. I don't know. Again, I'm going to say 1-0 to us.
Stan.
Right. I think we'll win by, it'll be 2-1.
Okay. Bethany?
This one, I'm going to go 1-0.
So we are where we are, and all think it's going to be a win for the Lions on 2 away days. That'll be something. Away games, back-to-back wins. Anyway, don't forget you can hear Henry reviewing Saturday's match with Jason, and the links will be available on our social media sites and Spreaker as soon as we know when he's got that done. We'll take a break there for what continues to be an important message from Patricia Maslin with an introduction from that memorable Wembley mascot. I can just see him standing there. Harvey Brown.
Hello, Harvey Brown here. I missed my football at the Den. Did you know Millwall Community Trust are continuing to help people of all ages from different walks of life and are doing so much good in these tough times? But they need our help. Here's Patricia to tell you more.
Oh, thank you for that intro, Harvey. Millwall Community Trust appreciates your support. You are a star. Hi, Patricia Maslin here. Whether you're an organisation with bodies able to assist or an individual, the Trust needs you during the current conditions to support the vulnerable and needy. If you can help make a difference or need help, please contact Sean Daly, the Trust's Chief Executive Officer, by phone on 07 958 027060. Once again, that's 07 958 027060. Or contact by email sdaly, I'll spell that, SDALY, at millwallcommunity, all one word, .org.uk. I'll repeat that, sdaly, SDALY, at millwallcommunity, all one word, .org.uk. If you can, or you know someone or any organisation who might be able to help, please let the Community Trust know. Thank you.
I'm Eamonn Barclay, and I'm back with a No One Likes Us talking team of Bethany Warren, Stan Godwin and Patricia Maslin. People continue to lose their lives to this dreadful virus, or as a consequence of suffering with it. Deaths and infections continue at significant levels, and large numbers of sufferers continue to be hospitalised too. Our thoughts go out to the victims, their families, friends, and those that take care of them.
There are so many fans who want to support the club, and you can help by joining the Lions Loyalty Club. It costs £40 with benefits. For £25, you or a member of your family can also be a crowdie. And why not sponsor a player's kit at the discounted rate of £450? That's £130 off with all the benefits. You can also obtain a virtual mascot package for £104. Also watch out for the virtual match sponsors packages, which you can purchase from the Millwall Commercial Department. All the details and more can be found on the Millwall website. Lastly, don't forget iFollow returns to our screens with Carl Bates and Max McClellan on Saturday against Derby. 100% of what you pay, less taxes for the internet streaming service, home or away, goes back to Millwall Football Club. It's a fantastic way to improve their revenue during these challenging times. And it's good night from me.
And next Friday, James Kelly returns once again to host George Lampy, Ted Robinson and Bethany Warren. In the meantime, Scott Johnson, the founder of the Proper Blokes Club, completed the 5 consecutive days of marathon distant walks. He's still looking for guys to come along and join him to break the stigma of men's mental health with walk and talk groups. Being in lockdown means walks will continue, but on a one-to-one basis. Change will be happening soon, though. Check out the Proper Blokes Club on Twitter and Facebook for further details. And don't forget to get behind Sean Ash, Millwall fan and London Ambulance Service call handler, on his walking challenge for the LAS NHS Trust. Simply insert Sean Ash Just Giving into your browser and a link will take you to the page to make a donation. And it's good night from me.
Don't forget, neither the Millwall Lionesses or Romans are playing football under the current restrictions. Nonetheless, player sponsorship for the Lionesses is still available this season. Why not share the burden between a few of you or even a couple of companies? If you can give them some added support, it would be most helpful. You can find details on their website. Just put Millwall Lionesses into your browser and you will find them easily enough. We have sponsored their captain Libby Stubbs, who made this tweet in response to the government roadmap out of lockdown. When football comes back, going to be grateful for every second I'm on the pitch. So will we, Libby. Good night.
Lastly, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Follow the lockdown guidance, social distancing when outside, and a face mask where necessary. That's it from me, and it's been an absolute joy on the week in which International Women's Day has taken place, and we've had 2 of the No One Likes Us talking teams women on the show. So thanks Bethany and Patricia, and thanks Stan for being between those 2 roses.
That must be one of the best compliments I've ever had. It's going to take me a cup of tea to work it out, but nevertheless, okay, that's fine by me.
Okay, until the next time, let's all say good night.
Good night.